Good evening, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me. All right. Thank you very much, Miracle. Thank you, Odebody. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. Yeah, thank you, Ivy. Good evening, guys. How have you been? How have you been? It's been a while, I believe. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have been having the best of peace. All right. So to my fellow Nigerians, happy independence, right? Happy independence, guys. Happy independence to us. Yes. So okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, so what have you guys been up to? Let's do a little catch up while we wait for others to join us. So please, now is a good time to contact your friends. Let them know that we are about starting for tonight. We have quite a lot to cover, right? So try to make best use of our time, right? Today we'll be talking about wireless security, right? And then we'll be talking touching a few practical, right? But then we have a session. If you're a typical Nigerian like me, like there's an exam over here called GCE, right? And then they have something, is it alternative to practical, something like that, right? Something like that. So we'll be doing something close to that for a while, and then we'll get to practical, and you guys should be able to demonstrate and practice some of the things we'll be talking about this evening in your very yeah at your end, rather at your end. Yeah. Okay. So the time now is 6 minutes past time. Let's give others grace of 4 more minutes, and then by exactly 10 minutes past time we will be starting. So yeah, just a little catch up. Yeah, let me know what you guys have been up to. What have you learned? What's the journey been so far? I want to believe, I trust that there's an improvement, right? If there's any cool thing you've learned, you just want to share with me, please just type it in the comment section. I'll be looking at it, and then we'll just use that to while away time a little bit before we start the agenda for today. All right. All right. Okay. I'm not sure I'm seeing anything on the in the comments. So okay. Let's just wait a little bit longer before we start. All right. Okay, thank you, Juliet. Juliet said mention Juliet is talking about SSL and TLS. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. Thank you very much, happiness, peace for the wishes. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Pamela. Yeah, okay. Peace is saying digital signature. All right, that's nice. Okay. All right, so we have just 1 more minute before we start. All right, Jane is saying we learned about encryption. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So you are now a cryptographer, I want to believe. Right. All right, that's cool. Okay, I have Aminat, we did hashing. Nice, nice. Juliet's Ode, right? Be sorry, please, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. HTTPS. Okay, cool. Obinwenem Bemisola from cryptography, which is a technique used to secure like coding to ensure. All right. Hashing. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Titilayo, I like encryption and I'm very much invested. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, Titilayo. Gifts. I learned about encryption. I can now encrypt my mail. Okay, okay. And also sign PDF files using my signature. All right, that's cool. I've been very well, thank you, Zainab. Thank you. I've been fine. Yes. Okay. So it is 7:10 already. 7:10 already. So we are about starting now. Okay, Temitope, I did my own digital signature. All right, that's nice. That's nice. Isaiah, we learned about cryptography. Zainab, we did hashing. All right, that's nice. Beautiful, guys. So let's start tonight. Let's start for tonight. So today, like you know already, we'll be talking about wireless network security. We'll be touching a little bit here and there for that. All right. So as usual, I would like start by introducing myself. I want to believe most of us here are familiar with me already, but if you are not, okay, my name is Emmanuel Akobi Ajibolu. I'm a Christian, I'm a penetration tester, right? I have some certifications to my name, and I work in a company here in Abuja with the name Cyberpura, graduate of cybersecurity science from the prestigious Federal University of Technology, Mina, Nigeria. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so our outline for today will be doing introduction to wireless network, right? And then we'll touch um a little some wireless network protocol, so wireless security protocol such as WEP, WPA, WPA2, then some common wireless attack, such as we're looking at some common wireless attack, right, such as WPS brute force, the authentication attack, and then we'll conduct a little bit of wireless penetration test and talk about how to secure Wi-Fi networks. So this is our agenda for today. This is our agenda for today. But quickly, please, before we proceed, right, before we jump at it, can you just share your thoughts with me, right? I have a very interesting question for us tonight. Between wired network and wireless network, which do you believe is most secure? Which do you believe is most secure? Now, if you are telling me it is wireless, fine. Please give us a reason why you are saying it is wireless. And if you are saying it is wired, please also attach your reason to your answer. All right. So I'll just wait quickly for your answers. Let's do that quickly in the next 2-3 minutes. Right. So let's do that in the next 2-3 minutes, and then we'll move along in our move forward. Yeah, we'll move forward. Okay, so Temitope is saying wireless network. Judith is saying wireless network. Okay, okay. Let me have more comments. More comments, please. So also for those of us that are giving our thoughts, let's attach our reason. Why do you believe wireless is more secure? Okay. All right. All right. Queen Beja said, okay, good evening, everybody. Obinwe name is saying wireless network is more secure. Wilson Hillary is saying, I think wired is more secure because it's okay. That's valid. That's valid. Precious wired is more secure because it mostly is not exposed to outside network. All right, valid, valid, very valid. Okay, wireless people, please give us your reason, please. Give us your reason. Okay, wired people are giving very strong reasons. So the wireless folks, you need to come up with something convincing, please. Okay, wired network is more secure from Jane. Aderonke wired because it can't be hijacked by anybody easily. Valid, valid. Then Baron wired because it deals with physical parts which can be easily disconnected. Okay, we have more wired. Oh my god. Okay, Messi, thank you very much. Messi said wireless cannot be hijacked. Okay, okay. Explain further, please. Explain. All right. Esther is saying, I believe it is wired because you can easily change the server like the connector. Okay, I get what you're trying to say. Not the best way to explain that, but that's is very much valid. Or also, wired is more secure due to the fact that it does not allow for an outsider to. Okay, very nice comment from Queen Esther. Very nice. Wireless. Okay, Okoli Grace. Wireless is more secure because no physical connection. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Jimmy, I'm seeing your answers. Reason one, physical access, but I don't know what you're talking about. Are you saying wired or you're saying wireless? All right, okay. This is getting interesting and intense at the same time. I have a lot of wired in this comment section. Okay, so please at this point you just okay. Let me take this last one from Temitope. Wireless cut it's not visible and cannot be easily hijacked. All right, we've all given beautiful explanations and our reasons are valid. Um I'll be going with the wired folks, right? Wired is actually more secure than wireless. And then because during the course of this class, right, you'll be understanding why, right? Okay. So please, we can stop the comment so we can get back to the business for the day, right? So wireless, your information is sent wirelessly, right? That means it's using like some people would think it's using the air, right? Anybody can breathe the air, right? I'm not saying is necessarily using the air, but if you get what I'm trying to explain, right? It's flowing through the air. Anybody can intercept the air. That means anybody can intercept your information. Wired is going through wire, right? That means before somebody can intercept your information, they must first get into the wire. Okay, so that's just on the lighter note, trying to drive home the point, right? So we'll be looking at wireless today, and wireless definitely has easy connectivity and other stuff right in place, which makes it a worthy opponent, let's put it that way, for wired, right? But holistically, wired is actually more secure than wireless. So today we'll be looking at how wireless network work, what entails wireless technology, right? Wi-Fi, right? So we are going to be looking at it, and then we'll understand it at fundamental level. Then from there we can start trying to see how we can take advantage of it, right? So why are we learning how to take advantage of these flaws? Why are we learning how to take advantage of this vulnerability? It's not so you can go and start hacking people's Wi-Fi. No, no, no. You're doing this so you can help your future organization or your current organization and help them stay secure, right? You can properly help them stay secured. All right. So thank you all very much for the comments. I really appreciate. All right. So wireless network, right, has become ubiquitous in modern security. I have here. So today also I need to warn you, my slide is a bit wordy, right? I have a lot of word on my slide, so you just have to bear with me, okay? Because I might be reading from my slide, then I'll be explaining further, right? So I have here on my slide that wireless network has become ubiquitous in modern society, right? Enabling convenient access to the internet, right? It is easier, right? You can conveniently connect to a wireless network. In fact, a lot of persons don't use wired network in this day and age, right? So wireless network gives you the ability to conveniently connect to the internet, some local resources without the constraint of physical cable. So although the argument is that wired is more secure, but wired is actually what more expensive, because if you are going to be expanding the network for a wired network, you need to be buying more cables, you need to be buying more network device, right? So they operate wired network operates using radio waves, right? So that part when I was saying wireless is flying through the air, right? What is actually the medium it's actually using is radio waves, right? It uses radio waves to transmit data between devices and access points, right? Offering flexibility, right, and mobility to users. All right. Okay. Offering flexibility and mobility to user, wireless network comes in various forms, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, and cellular network, each serving different purposes and applications. Okay, I have somebody complaining about my slide. Okay, sorry, I forgot we always have issue with this. So just give me a minute. Let me quickly increase the font for my slide and then we will continue. All right. So you should have my slide up in a minute. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my slide better now. If this font size is better. Okay, so please, I'm waiting for your comments. All right, all right. Thank you very much, Eunice. Okay, thank you, Osime. All right, thank you very much, guys. Okay, so okay, we are done with this now. So we okay. Before we move forward, let me explain this. So we must understand that wireless network is not just limited to Wi-Fi, as most of us might be believing, right? We have other forms of wireless network. We have Bluetooth. It's also important that you make sure that Bluetooth is secure. We have ZB. It is also important that you make this secure. So I believe some of us might be coming across this ZB for the very first time, right? ZB. So do me a favor, quickly search about it on Google and come back and share what you find. For me, trust me, you find something interesting, right? Then we have cellular network, like your phone call, right? Phone call, right? So these are examples of wireless networks worth noting, right? These are example of wireless network worth mentioning. But then for the purpose of this class, right, because we have Wi-Fi being most prevalent, we are going to be talking about Wi-Fi a lot today. Okay, so now, as wireless network transmits data over the airwaves, they are inherently more vulnerable to unauthorized access and interception compared to wired network, right? So let me go over this again. As wireless network transmit data over the airwaves, now, like I said in that my funny example, I said, oh, wireless is moving through the air. Everybody can breathe in air. That means everybody can intercept it. So therefore, they are inherently more vulnerable to what? To unauthorized access and interception compared to wired network. Okay, so ensuring the security of wireless networks is paramount to protect sensitive information, right? So since this is moving towards the airwaves, we must find a means that we can make sure that it is moving securely, so that, oh, not just anybody that can breathe in air, in quotes, can have access to my information, right? So ensuring the security of wireless network is paramount to protect sensitive information, right? Maintain privacy and prevent unauthorized access to network resources. So breaches in wireless network can what lead to data theft, right? It can lead to network intrusion and it can lead to compromise of critical systems, resulting in what? Financial loss, resulting in reputational damage and what? Legal repercussion for individuals and organization. So I want to believe this is very, very clear, right? Now, having established this, now we know that, okay, since our information, whenever we are using wireless network, is moving through the airwaves. So what are the common threats that we have to look out to our informations that are moving through the airwaves? Now, like I said, anybody that is breathing in air can actually intercept your information. That is on a lighter note and for the purpose of understanding. So the first thing that I have here on my list is what is eavesdropping. So now the fact that your information is being transmitted wirelessly, that means anybody, an attacker with the right set of tools, an attacker with the right set of technology can actually intercept this information. And if they have this information that is being transmitted, and if they have as much information as they need, they can also what? Interpret this information that is not meant for them. Okay? So eavesdropping. So attacker can what? Intercept wireless transmission to capture sensitive data, such as what? Login credentials, such as financial information or confidential communication. So now next we have what? Unauthorized access. So hackers may exploit weak authentication mechanism, right, or default credential to gain unauthorized access to wireless network, thereby what? Compromising the network security. Now, let me give you a mental picture of this. Now, if I want to exploit a wired network, right? Huh? Before I can get connected to that network, I must be physically there, right, with my device. And then what? I must also be given physical connection. That means they must give me a cable, right, that I can what? Plug into my system for it to what? To give me access to that network. But it's quite the opposite for wireless. In fact, I could be sitting in an entirely different building, and then I'm going to see the network name, and then I might just try to guess the password. And if they are not using a strong and secure password, and then I could what? Get access from there. I could get access to what? To their network. So you see that it is when we compare the security, right, of wired network and wireless network, they are like two words apart, right? Wireless is what? Relatively easy, relatively easier, right? Relatively easier, right? In quotes. Let's move forward. Now, next is what? Denial of service. Now, attackers can what? Disrupt wired service by flooding the network with traffic, thereby causing legitimate users to what? Be unable to access network resources. Now, remember, like one of my favorite way of explaining what a denial of service attack is this thing is not useful to me, but I don't want it to be useful to any other person. So I just make it useless to everybody. I make it unavailable to everybody. Right? Okay, before I can carry out denial of service attack, right? On a wired network, it is either I look for a means to what? Destroy the physical device, either the router or the what? Or the cable. Now, but then on the contrary, for wireless network, it is relatively easier because we have an attack called what? Deauthentication attack. Now, before the authentication attack is one of the attacks we'll be looking at today, right? But then one thing that is worth mentioning right now concerning the authentication attack is that for me to carry out a deauthentication attack, I do not even need to be what? Connected to the network that I'm flooding with the packets. Please, are we following? Right? So please let me know if you are following in the comment section. So I know I'm not just talking to myself. All right, all right. Thank you very much. You're following. That's beautiful. All right. So now, like I was explaining, in a wireless network, I do not even need to be what? Connected to that network before I can what? Cause denial of service attack. So that means a network has to be properly configured to prevent me from doing this. Right? Okay, we've probably heard things maybe in cybersecurity awareness class or awareness training or whatever it is that whichever one we attended, right? They'll tell you that, oh, don't use HTTP website because when you use HTTP website, your information is being transmitted in plain text. Now, if my information is being transmitted in plain text across wire, that means for somebody to intercept that information that is being transmitted in plain text, the person also has to be what? Connected to that wire. But then on the opposite side of things, if my information is being transmitted in plain text across airwaves, that means anybody that has the right set of tools, because everybody has access to airwaves, right? They can actually extract this information from the airwaves. Okay? All right. So let's move on. Next is what? rogue access points. Another common threat to wireless network is what? Rogue access points. Now, unauthorized access points installed by attackers can trick users into connecting, right? And also what? Allowing them to monitor or manipulate network traffic. Now, I will give you a very good example. Now, but for this example, I will need you guys to work with me. Like, we need to work very, very fast. So I need like your comments quickly in the comment section. Now, I've I want to believe we have friends, right? And I want to believe some of us, I'm not part of the iPhone gang, by the way, right? Story for another day. Let's not get distracted. That have iPhones, right? And most time, iPhone network, that is their hotspot, is usually called iPhone. True of us, right? Okay, so let me continue my story. Maybe at some point, as an iPhone user, you have turned on your hotspot for somebody to use. Now, or you are on the receiving end, you are the super rich person like me, right? Who is asking somebody to the iPhone user to turn on their hotspot for you, right? Okay, now if one iPhone user turn on their hotspot for you today, you connect to that hotspot called iPhone. If you are probably moving in, and maybe you have your Wi-Fi turned on and you are moving on the street, or you are trying to connect to another user's hotspot. Now, it's a different iPhone, but the network is still called what? It's still called hotspot. Now, automatically, sorry, the network is still called iPhone, right? Automatically, your phone, whenever it sees this network called iPhone, tries to what? To connect to it, because your phone is what? Seeing the same network. Now, I know this might sound a bit confusing right now, but let me explain the point I'm trying to make. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that multiple network can actually have the same name. And that's the problem, because 10 different iPhones in the same location, if the user refuse to change the network name, if they all turn on their hotspot, you'll be seeing iPhone, 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 iPhone. Please, I hope I'm not confusing anybody. Please let me know in the comment section before I continue with my story. Yeah, thank you very much, Obin winning. Yes, we are seeing the same network name. That's a problem. Now let me explain how you can use this to trick an organization. So let's say I'm supposed to now let's say I'm trying to compromise an organization. Now I do not know their Wi-Fi password. Huh? Now the name of the organization is what? Jesus is coming soon. Okay, and their Wi-Fi name is Jesus is coming soon. I want to connect to their Wi-Fi, right? I don't know the password. That means I can also create my own Wi-Fi, huh? And what? Name it what? Jesus is coming soon. And hope that somebody in that organization is going to what? Is going to connect to my Wi-Fi with the name Jesus is coming soon. And now, when they connect to this Wi-Fi, they are going to what? Have to enter the organization password, the real organization Wi-Fi password. Now, if they enter the real organization Wi-Fi password into my own Wi-Fi, I can then what? Get this password, because it is my network, so I can monitor what is happening on it. So after getting this password, I can now decide to what? Turn off my hotspot and then what? Connect to the original network using the password that their employee has unknowingly supplied to me. Please let me know if you understand my interesting story, please. Please let me know if you understand it. Okay, Gift says she doesn't understand. All right, let me get more comment before I go over it again. Okay, thank you. Interesting. I think more people are understanding because I'm having wow. I have I from Adefuye. Okay, love it. Okay. All right. So now I want to compromise an organization network, right? I do not know the password. So I'm going over the explanation, the illustration again. I do not know the password to the organization network, but I know that the employees know the password, right? Okay. I hope you are following to this point, right? So therefore, I will what? I will create my own network and then what? And then give it the organization network name. Now, this new network that belongs to me, because I am the owner, I can do some setting in that network, right? That any password that anybody is entering into the network will be sent to me. It is my network. I have full control of it. So all I need is an employee in that organization to connect to the fake Wi-Fi bearing their organization name. And then when they connect to it and enter the right username and password, right, the right password rather, it will then come to me. Then I can now pick this password in my own end and use it to connect to the organization original network. I hope this is clear. Now, somebody said it sounds unreal. Yes, it sounds unreal because you are thinking about it from the perspective of phone. No, no, no. What I'm saying, I'm using more sophisticated devices. Now, in your phone, right? Oh, I said in your phone, sorry. Right over there, let me give you a little assignment. Google something called evil twin attack or twin evil attack, and then just read about it. Shortly after this class, you can get more information about it, and then everything will make more sense if it doesn't make sense to you, right? So I'm just trying to hasten things up, right? So permit me. I know like my story is not sweet, but you should get the point. You should get the point. It should do for this class, right? So that's what we call rogue access point. So it's an access point that is bearing the same name, but it's not necessarily the network that you want to connect to, right? Then we have man in the middle attack. Right? Man in the middle attack. Attackers position themselves between user and what? And legitimate access point. Now, let me quickly put this out. Now, whenever in this class, right, if you keep hearing me mentioning access point, access point, access point. So access point is just like the Wi-Fi, right? So when I'm saying access point, so it's like me saying Wi-Fi. You understand? For the sake of understanding. So legitimate access point, right? So change it, substitute it to what? Legitimate Wi-Fi, right? So attacker can position themselves right between the user and legitimate access point towards to intercept and alter communication between them, potentially gaining access to what? Sensitive information. Okay. All right. So these are the threats to what? To wireless network. Okay, so yes, interactive section. So let me know. I'll quickly go through the comments and see if there's anything I need to address there. Okay, how do some Omo Labake, right? So how do I create a network? I mean, the same way you create Wi-Fi now, have your Wi-Fi, give it the name, and then do some settings, and then yeah. Somebody said beware of fake Wi-Fi network. Yes, I can see somebody tagging somebody on free Wi-Fi. Jimmy, free Wi-Fi. Okay, all right. Cecile is saying I should repeat. Cecile, I think okay. All right. I think she got it. She has gotten it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Chi Amaka said, I understand now. Okay. All right, Jimmy, you have a question. Please let me have your question quickly. Okay, Jimmy said, from your backend as an iPhone user, how do you see their password? I want to believe you're asking, okay, even if it's an iPhone user, how do I see their password, their Wi-Fi password, right? As long as they've entered it into my own Wi-Fi, right, it comes to me. So that's one thing, right? One of the attacks we'll be looking at, it's not necessarily an attack, but it's just one of the cool stuff we'll be looking at today. Is for, let's say, for Windows user, do you know that any Wi-Fi that you've connected to with your computer, right, the password gets saved on the laptop. So we'll look at how we can extract this information from the laptop. Yeah, that's one of the things we'll be looking at today. All right. So questions and discussion. Okay. Okay, so I have a question from Kimberly. Does this give you access to alter the organization original password? Not necessarily, but then it gives you access to the organization network, right? So that's like one step forward, right? I do not have access to your Wi-Fi before, but now I've been able to gain access to your Wi-Fi. But okay, what if the administrative panel is using the same password? Do you understand? What if the administrative portal, the administrative web, the administrative page, right, where the password is being set, is using the same password for their login? So, okay, if it is using the same password for the login, then I could gain access to the administrative panel, and then I could start changing password. So that is it, Kimberly. Um, okay. Okay, thank you very much, Okoli. Jane is saying, will the real password be sent to you? Yes, it will be sent to me if the user connects to my own network. Yes, it will. Okay. Victoria, I'm not sure I know what you're asking me to go over again, so you might want to quickly drop that in the comment section. Sorry. All right. Okay. Google do save password on phone. Why? That's beyond. That's a conversation outside what we are discussing today, Okoli. So let's not lose focus. Okay. Okay. LC's diary. Yes, you can change your passwords. So once you change it, then the password the person has with them is no longer valid. All right. Okay, so Oparanti Oluwatoyin. Sorry, please, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Yes, it is possible to hack Wi-Fi your Wi-Fi, even though it is passworded. But then it is also possible. One of the goal of this class is to tell you how you can protect yourself, how you can protect an organization. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, so I think we are good. All right. All right. So let's move forward, guys. Okay. So now, remember I said information is being transmitted in airwave, through the airwave, right? Now, how do we make sure that not just anybody can read the information that is being transmitted through the airwave? Remember, everybody can breathe air, right? That means everybody, if you have the right set of tools, you can see this information. This is accomplished through what? Through Wi-Fi encryption, right? So Wi-Fi encryption is essential for securing wireless network, right, and protecting transmitted data from unauthorized access. So this information that is being moved, that is being transmitted through the airwave, right? How do we protect it, we protect it by what? Encrypting the information. So, okay, other people that could actually see this information, other people that can breathe in air, right, in quotes, right, they cannot make sense out of this information. Right. So over the year, several encryption methods have been developed to enhance the security of Wi-Fi communication. Right. So we'll be looking at some generations of Wi-Fi. We'll be looking at the generation rather of Wi-Fi encryption. So the very first one is what? Called WEP, which is what? Wired equivalent privacy. Wired equivalent privacy. So WEP was the first encryption standard introduced for what? For Wi-Fi network, right? It uses a shared key authentication mechanism and the RC4 stream cipher algorithm for what? For encryption, right? But then, however, WEP has significant security flaws, primarily due to what? Its reliance on a weak encryption algorithm and the static nature of the encryption key. Please, now, thank God, I believe Peace did a very beautiful job explaining encryption, decryption, cryptography, and other stuff. So encryption, all these terms are not new to us, right? But then you agree with me that they are what? They are strong encryption algorithm, and as well we have what? Weak encryption algorithm. So WEP is the first generation, but it was plagued with a problem of what? Of weak encryption algorithm, and also what? Static nature of the encryption key. Right? That means the encryption key is the same upon every connection. It is the same, right? And that is a problem. Now we will be looking at how to exploit Wi-Fi with WEP during the course of the class. But then my fear for this is that some of us might not be able to follow along. And I've noticed that whenever we are carrying out practicals such as this, since we do not have a very interactive system, some of you might get very, very angry. But then we'll see how best we can practice this together over this live stream. Okay, now attackers can exploit vulnerabilities in WEP to what? Intercept, right? They will first intercept and then they will decrypt data packets, right? Leading to widespread adoption. This problem led to what? A widespread adoption of a more secure encryption standard. Now, just a quick one. So please now pick up your phone if you have your phone with you, right? And then you do something for me quickly, right? You will go to your hotspots. Now, when you get to your hotspots, go to your hotspot setting, right? Whatever it is called on your phone, you should see information relating to security and other stuff. Then check the information related to security. Then you should be able to set the kind of security that you want for your hotspots. Now, under that, you should see if you see WEP, please update your phone. You should not be seeing WEP. Then, if you do not have a phone over there, you could maybe you have Wi-Fi or MiFi, whatever it is. Go to the administrative dashboard and check your wireless network security. You should see WEP, but most network that we have right now have discontinued WEP. So if you are seeing WEP, your network is probably old and your phone is probably old. If you are not seeing it, please don't be bothered. Don't be bothered. We are still good. We are still good. Yeah. Your phone, it simply means your phone is secure. You should probably be seeing WPA2 or WPA3. Okay. All right, so let me check the comment section. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay. So Happiness saying if someone on his Wi-Fi for me on my system using his Redmi 13C, the same iPhone with mine, the same phone with mine, sorry. And when I want to connect mine, I am having issues with it. What could be the issue? Yes, yes, it's the same display name. So your it's the same display name. So one person should change their display name for the other person, right? So what is happening is your phone is probably trying to connect to that other person's network using the saved password for, sorry, your system rather is probably trying to connect to the other person's Wi-Fi using the Wi-Fi password meant for your phone. Since it's seeing Redmi 13C, it just assume that it's still the same phone. Do you get? Yeah, for iPhone you can check too. I'm not an iPhone user, so I might not be able to give you a perfect information of how that works. But check your hotspots, check the security related information. You should see something relating to that. Okay, Victoria. Okay, thank you for explaining Obinwene. Sorry. Okay. All right. Pamela is saying WPA2. Okay, cool. Rachel WPA2. All right. Nezzy WPA2. Cool, cool, cool. And then Pamela in WPA2. All right. Okay, I have somebody saying WPA2, WPA3. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Okay, someone is saying I have WPA2 personal and WPA3 personal, which is preferable, sir. Don't worry, we'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there. All right. Okay, then okay, we have a lot of WPA. There's no WEP. It's like everybody's seriously after protecting their information and their Wi-Fi, right? Their hotspots. Okay, okay. A lot of WPA2. All right, all right, all right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So after WEP and then the security lapses that came with it, the next generation was what? WPA. All right, like we will be seeing here. Okay, WPA2. Now, WPA2 represents a significant advancement in Wi-Fi security, right? And is currently the most widely used encryption standard for Wi-Fi network. Yes, that's why we have a lot of people saying, oh, WPA2, WPA2 personal, like that, like that, like that. So WPA2 is like what is going on around today, right? And it employs advanced encryption standard algorithm in counter mode with cipher blocks, chaining message authentication code protocol, CCMP, right, for encryption, right, offering stronger protection against attacks, right? So WPA2 also supports 802.1x EAP authentication, right, along with pre-shared key, which is PSK. So somebody shared earlier that has is what WPA2 PSK, right? So PSK stands for pre-shared key for small or home office environments. Okay, all right. So next, after WPA2, we have a more secure generation known as what? WPA3. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, explain, give us the full meaning of WPA, but I'm sure we've all seen it on my screen. WPA stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access, right? Wi-Fi Protected Access 3 is the latest generation of Wi-Fi security standard, which is designed to address emerging threats and enhance overall security. So WPA3 is the latest generation. So I believe this has answered your question. Somebody was asking that, oh, which is more secure between, which is best between WPA2 and WPA3. So from this information, you know that okay, WPA2 is secure, but then the latest is what? WPA3. Okay, right? It introduces several improvements over WPA2, which includes a stronger encryption, right? Simplified configuration for devices, with limited user interface, such as what IoT devices, and also protection against brute force attack on weak passwords. Right? WPA3 also strengthens protection against offline dictionary attacks and provide enhanced privacy for open networks through individualized data encryption. Okay? All right. So that is WPA3. All right, so we are moving to hacking Wi-Fi. But before we do that, please, any question? Please let me have your questions now. Contributions. Let's do that in 5 minutes. Then we take our quick 10 minutes break, and then we come back and then we do a little bit of practical here and there. Right. Okay. Okay. We are about getting to the interesting part. Okay. Okay. So any question, any contribution, quickly, please, let's do that in 5 minutes so we can go on our 10 minutes break quickly. Somebody saying wahala for iPhone users. I'm sorry, guys. I had to bring my iPhone trouble to our class today. Okay. Jimmy is saying, we know they worry you. All right, all right, all right. Yes, Bamilary WPA3 is more secure, is stronger than WPA2. Yes, it is safe for you to switch to WPA3 if you have that for your device, right? It's safe for you to switch. But then if you have WPA2 and you don't have WPA3, no problem. No problem. You are still very good. So offline dictionary cracking, right? Ajiboye, I believe that's your question, is when you are trying to hack Wi-Fi, right? You capture how do I put this without confusing? Okay, you capture some information, you capture some network traffic, right? Some network packets, right? Now when you capture it, you keep it, and then you maybe when your system is offline, right, you try to crack it, right, without being connected to the network, right? Okay. Yes, Samsung, fellow Samsung user, yes, please, by all means, switch to WPA3. iPhone users, please. Okay, forgive me, guys, forgive me. All right. Just check your hotspots, right? Go to your hotspots, check the setting, check setting related to information. You should find it. You should find it there. You should find it there. Okay. Okay. So any other? Oh my God, none. Please move to WPA 2 or 3 if you have none. So there's no encryption, there's no security for your Wi-Fi. All right, guys. I'm not seeing any other questions. I want to assume we are all good. Okay. Aminat, your question. Okay, please, how do I check on my iPhone? I said you should go to your hotspots, right? When you get to your hotspots, check the security related information for that. I don't have a good mental picture of what it looks like for iPhones, right? Because I don't use an iPhone, right? But it should be something like that. It should be something like that. Okay. Okay, Jane, no, no. Offline dictionary is not same as offline pages, right? No, no. It's not. Now, when you are trying to crack a Wi-Fi key, right, it's called brute force attack, right? For you to use brute force attack, for you to carry out a brute force attack, rather, you need something called the dictionary. Now, or a word list. Do you understand? So, okay, this is just you trying to crack the password in layman term. Whenever you see dictionary attack or offline dictionary attack, it's just the process of you trying to crack something. Okay. Okay, someone is asking what was the loophole found in WPA2 that brought about WPA3. Okay, so WPA2 is secure, right? It has great encryption key, but then WPA3 has greater and stronger encryption key. So that means if you have WPA2, you are still good, right? But then we have emerging threats, right? Some of which might not be available to the public yet, right? So hence we have this. But there, trust me, if you have WPA2 or WPA3, any of the two, you are good. But then just know that WPA3 is better. Okay. All right, baby. So, baby Sola, happy upgrading, happy upgrading. Okay, guys. So this is 5 minutes past 8 my time. So we will be going on a quick 10 minutes break. So by 8:15 we will continue. By 8:15 we will continue this class. So thank you very much, guys. See you in the next 10 minutes. See you in the next 10 minutes. Okay. All right, guys. So yes, we are back. We are back. It seems some of us didn't go on break. All right, it's like the conversation is very interesting today. Okay, so please let me know if you can hear me sound and clear. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. All right, thank you, Nezi. Thank you, Obin Wenem. Always struggle to pronounce this your name. All right, thank you, Modupe. Thank you, Bello. Thank you, Gift. Okay, thank you, Love It. All right. Okay, thank you, Baru. Thank you, Moyo Sorioluwa. L LCs, thank you. Okay, so let's move. Let's move. All right, thank you, guys. So in recent years, Wi-Fi hacking has gained attention. I have here on my slide, right? Due to its use in both malicious cyber activities and ethical hacking practices. Right? Security professionals often study Wi-Fi hacking techniques to identify vulnerabilities in networks and strengthen defenses against potential threats. Right? Okay. Then, however, it is essential to emphasize that Wi-Fi hacking should only be performed for ethical purpose with proper authorization and consent from network owner. So please, after this class, don't go poking people's network, right? Don't go and then you say, well, Emmanuel taught you this. No, 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 no. Please, before you test any wireless network, you need to what have the proper authorization, right, before carrying out to test for the strength of the network. Okay, so let's move. All right, so the first attack we'll be looking at, right, is known as what? Deauthentication attack, also known as what? Deauth attack. Right, so for this now, because of the nature of our class, we will be doing what we call alternative to practical. That's what so before now I sat down, I created a scenario and then I took screenshots, which I have here on the slide that you are going to see. But then if you have a Wi-Fi there, right, and if you have the proper tool set, you can also replicate this attack in your end. Okay, so a deauthentication attack is a form of wireless attack aimed at disrupting the connection between a Wi-Fi client, such as laptop, smartphone, or any IoT device, right? And what's the access point? Okay, so remember the other time when we're talking about threats to wireless network, where we said what denial of service attack, right? So the authentication attack, in the authentication attack, I don't even need to be connected to any Wi-Fi. Any Wi-Fi I see, I can actually what jam the Wi-Fi and thereby disconnect anybody of choice that is connected to the Wi-Fi, even without knowing the password or anything. Right? So this attack involves sending a deauthentication frame, right, or packets to the target client, impersonating the access point, thereby instructing the client to disconnect from the network. So I will be explaining further what this means, how this attack works, why this attack is possible. Okay. All right. So how does the authentication attack work? How does DAuth attack work? Okay. So Wi-Fi network rely on a protocol which is known as the IEEE IEEE 802.11, right, which governs how devices communicate with each other over the air. Now, this protocol involves various management frames, right, including a deauthentication frame, which is used to what? Disconnect a client device from an access point. Now, when a device wants to connect to a Wi-Fi network, it goes through a process of authentication and association with the access point. Now, during this process, the access point and the client exchange control frames to establish a connection and then authenticate the clients. All right. So now the deauthentication frame is what? Is actually a legitimate part of the Wi-Fi protocol, which is used by access points to terminate connection with client devices. However, there is a vulnerability in the protocol that allows attacker to abuse this feature. Please just follow with me. I will go back to explain this and give some pictorial example to make it much more understandable to us, right? So normally, a deauthentication frame should only be sent by a legitimate access point to disconnect a device. But then an attacker can exploit. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, the victim client, upon receiving the first deauthentication frame, disconnect from the Wi-Fi network. So depending on the configuration of the client device, it may attempt to reconnect automatically, providing an opportunity for attacker to capture sensitive information and launch further attacks or disrupt network access. Okay, so now we've read slide. Let's explain. Okay, so now, according to what we've explained, there's a standard, there's a protocol, right, that is in place for how devices connect to wireless network. So, okay, I want to connect to a Wi-Fi. So think of it as a conversation that happens that there's a Wi-Fi and there's a phone. Okay, right? The phone, which is the user that wants to connect to the Wi-Fi, when you click connect to Wi-Fi, when you click the Wi-Fi name and then you enter the username and the password of the Wi-Fi, and then you click send. What is actually happening is that your phone will talk to the Wi-Fi and be like, guy, Alpha, I want to connect to you. Then your Wi-Fi will now be like, okay, do you have the correct username and the correct password, right? And then when it checks and the password is correct, the Wi-Fi allows your phone to what? To connect or join its network, to connect to or join its network. So that is for the connection part. Now, this same standard, this same protocol applies for disconnection. Whenever a Wi-Fi wants, a Wi-Fi can tell a phone that he wants that phone to be disconnected from it. Okay, so now is guy, Alpha, I want to connect to you initially. Okay, you can connect to me. Then that means the Wi-Fi can also tell the phone that, okay, you should what? Disconnect from me. Or, okay, it's okay, you've done enough for today, disconnect. So now this part of the Wi-Fi telling the phone that what? Okay, you've done enough for today, disconnect, right, is where the vulnerability for the authentication attack exists. Because as an attacker, with the right set of tools, we can actually do what? We can actually create that fake message that, okay, disconnect from me, you've done enough for today. And whenever we are sending it to the phone, the device, right, in this case, which is the phone is not going to do what? Properly check where that information of, okay, you have done enough for today, so you have to disconnect from me. It's just going to take that information as is, and it's going to what? It's going to believe and therefore disconnect. So what we are basically doing in a deauthentication attack is to what? To send disconnection packets to devices on that network, and then they will automatically what? Disconnect themselves. Okay. So please let me know if you understand, if the explanation is simple enough, and if you understand me. Okay, happiness saying questions are when someone puts the correct password and the network is saying that it cannot be connected, even when the person has enough data, what should the person do? So there are multiple reasons for this. It's probably maybe the network is full and there's no space for the person to connect again, or maybe there's probably a mistake in typing the password. I bet it's one of these two. Or the person is connecting to the wrong network. Maybe, yeah, probably. All right, so somebody Miracle said, yes, I understand. Thank you very much, Miracle. That means, Lola, how does the disconnection affect anyone? Yeah, so what you will do as an attacker is to just send the disconnection packets to everybody. Then their device will just keep disconnecting themselves. And then you keep sending it, you keep sending it and sending it. And then nobody in the network will be able to connect. Okay. I have re-explained messages coming up. Okay. Okay. So let me explain again. Let me go over it again. So let's go. So let's start from beginning. Let me read the slide, and then it should make more sense as I go over the slide again and as I explain again. So Wi-Fi network relies on a particular protocol known as IEEE 802.11, which governs how devices communicate with each other over the internet. That means before two devices can communicate wirelessly, there's a way, right? There's a protocol that governs, there's a protocol that governs how two or more devices communicate wirelessly. Now, there are two parts to this communication. There's connection part and there's what? Disconnection part. Now, this protocol involves various management frames. So the frames, think of it as the messages that are being sent, right? Including the deauthentication frame, which is what? The authentication message. So I want to connect to you. I have a message I'm going to send to you. I want to disconnect from you. I also have another message I'm going to send to you so that you can what? Can disconnect. So it's not just that connection and disconnection happen. No, there has to be a communication. I want to connect to you. I want to disconnect from you. Okay, right? When a device wants to connect to a Wi-Fi network, it goes through a process of what? Authentication and what? Association with the what? Access point, which is the Wi-Fi, right? So during this process, the access point, which is the Wi-Fi, and the client exchange information to establish a connection, and then they authenticate the client. So I believe this part is clear now. Okay, the authentication frame is also a legitimate part of the Wi-Fi protocol, right? So when you already from the slide we just left now, we established that okay, when two devices want to connect, they send frames, they send information to connect. Then when they want to disconnect, there's also a frame or information they send. So this frame is actually legitimate, right? Used by access point to term. Okay, now, but this deauthentication frame is sent by the access point, is sent by the Wi-Fi. Do you understand? So I have Emmanuel's phone connected to Emmanuel's Wi-Fi. Emmanuel's Wi-Fi can tell Emmanuel phone that Emmanuel phone, okay, you have done enough for today, so disconnect from me. That's part of the protocol, the deauthentication frame part. That's the authentication frame part of the protocol. You get so, but now since Wi-Fi can tell any device that is connected to it to what to disconnect, and whenever they get this information, they just obey, right? They don't check to see, is this information coming from Wi-Fi? You get that means if another person creates this information, creates this conversation, creates this frame, and send to any device that is connected to that Wi-Fi, those devices will simply what obey. So that's what we are doing in the authentication attack. We are just sending the authentication frame to devices that are connected to a network, and then by their self, they will remove their self from the network. Okay. Yes, beautiful question. Gift. Sir, this the authentication, does it involve only the two devices connected? Like, I don't have to be connected before yes, you don't have to. Remember that the information is going through what? Through the air. So if you send information and then you send it to somebody, if they receive it, they will interpret it now, and then they will do what you want them to do. Yes, thank you very much, Baron. So you achieved the authentication attack through you achieved denial of service attack through the authentication attack. Yes, thank you, Modupe. It is just like the key we entered to enter the Wi-Fi. Okay. Betilicious. My own experience is getting logged off my Wi-Fi network, and if I try to reconnect, it gives me an authentication error, even though the password is correct. Then after several trials, connect back. Okay, there's probably somebody attacking you. I can't see completely, but okay. Okay, so Kemi is asking how many devices can be connected to a network. So depends on the kind of network, right? Depends on the kind of network. So each network has its capacity or its strength. So some network, maybe your home Wi-Fi might be able to take up to 16 or 32 device. Bigger networks might be able to take 100. You get, and it keeps going on and on. All right. Okay. Okay, Jane, I'm not sure I saw your. Okay, what is the purpose of the authentication attack from Jane? Okay. The authentication attack, like we established, is a form of denial of service attack itself, right? It could also be used for Wi-Fi cracking. Now, we will get to that soon, but for now, think of it as what? As a form of denial of service attack, right? You just want to disconnect people from network. You don't want the network to be useful to anybody. Okay. How can one prevent the authentication attack? So we have technologies in place, right, for Wi-Fi devices nowadays that prevent the authentication attack. So you might want to check your router, right? Does it prevent the authentication attack? But I must be honest with you, this attack is a bit tricky. In most places I've tested this, it always work. In most places, it always work. Yeah. So there's high success rate for this particular attack. Okay. So I want to believe we can move forward. All right. Okay. So now for this particular attack, right, you need you'll be using a Linux system, right? Kali Linux, right? And then you'll be using a couple of tools, right? The first one is called M1NG. Remember, we said we are doing alternative to practical. So I'll just be using screenshots to explain this, and then we are going to see how best we could make a better practical class in the near future. Okay, so the name of the tool is M1NG, and then they need high privilege, right? So like you can see, the command here is sudo M1NG. So when you enter this, you can see this, right? So you can see after entering this, I see my Wi-Fi name, right? So you can see the interface. My Wi-Fi name is called, sorry, my Wi-Fi network interface card, right? That is the hardware that helps me connect to a Wi-Fi in my computer. Is called WLAN 0, like you can see here, right? Okay. You can't see? Oh my God. Okay, so I'm using screenshots, so I'm not sure I can increase the font size of what we have on the screen. Okay, so after checking the Wi-Fi name now, for me to be able to to view to carry out this attack, right? We have two modes for the Wi-Fi card, for the Wi-Fi connection device in my system. We have what we call the monitored mode, and then we have the managed mode. Okay. Okay, so now we need to change the mode to monitored mode. All right, so for that, we use this particular command sudo m1ng start, and then you specify the wireless interface name. That's the information we got from here, which is WLAN 0. Okay, so when you do that now, you can see that this is the command I ran, sudo m1ng start WLAN 0. Then you can see it's happening, and then you can see here now that I said monitor mode enabled for this, and then my Wi-Fi card name gets changed to WLAN 0 mon. Okay. Then after that one, I need to check the new name just to confirm, right? Check your wireless interface, and you should now see its name has been changed to WLAN 0 mon, and it is now in monitored mode. So this is the command to do that, iw-config, and then when I enter this command, you can see WLAN 0 mon, the mode is now monitor. Okay. Then after that one now, when I run this command sudo airdump WLAN 0, when you run this command now, you should be able to see every Wi-Fi working around you. So in this case now, this Wi-Fi is called Cyberdemia, like you can see here. So, and then you also notice that this is using WEP. So, oh my God, this is a working time bomb, right? Okay. So after that now, for me to, okay, the next thing we have to do is use another tool. Here, notice that we are using another tool called what? Aero dump. Before we're using what? M1, M1NG. Now we are using another tool. This is M1NG. Now we've switched to another tool called AeroDump NG, and the name of the card, name of the network interface card, like you can see here. And then we'll specify the channel, we'll specify the BSS ID, which is the MAC address, and then the interface, like you can see here. So we have sudo AeroDump NG, this the BSS ID of the Wi-Fi we are targeting. So you have this, and then the name of our interface card. So you can see we've gotten more information here. Cool. And then now we use a tool called Air Replay to perform the deauthentication attack. So we have replay ng, deauthentication, and then we specify the packet count. So if you want denial of service, you flood the particular device that you're trying to disconnect with a lot of packets, right? So you specify a large chunk of packet that you want it to send, then the MAC address of the Wi-Fi, and then your target device, and then your wireless interface card. So you can have it here. So we have sudo airplay-ng. Then now we are sending 30,000 the authentication packet frame to this particular device with this particular MAC. And then that way we disconnect that device from the network. Okay, so that is just a quick walkthrough. So please bear with us. Today it is alternative to practical, right? It is alternative to practical. So just try to follow along in the storytelling. Okay. Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay, so where do we do all this stuff? We do it on the attacker's machine in the Kali Linux operating system. That's where we are doing this. So I've done it. I just did screenshot because I know like a lot of persons will have some issues because not everybody have their Kali Linux. So that's why I have screenshot here. Okay. No, you can't use M1NG. You can't use it. No, you can't use it on your Windows. You can't use it on your system. I'm using a hacker operating system. Let me in quote hacker operating system. That's where I have all this working. That's why I said well, we'll just be doing alternative to practical because most of you will not be able to do it from your own end. Do you understand? So just follow the build up. Okay. Yes, these are screenshots, so I can't increase the font. That's why I was begging your indulgence the other time that you might struggle to see the information because of depending on your screen size. So if you are using a mobile phone, you might not see it clearly. But if you are if you join with a laptop, you should see the information on the screen clearly. Okay. All right. All right. Yes, you need to download Kali Linux operating system. Remember one of the very first class I had with you that I said, oh, there's VirtualBox, there's VMware, and then you could put operating system inside those, right, to practice whatever it is that you want to. Yes. Yes, Busola, yes, it can. Yes, it can. It can be done on the Linux operating system. But this particular attack might not necessarily work in virtual environment because of some restriction in the virtual environment. That's why I said let's just follow alternative to practical method for this particular attack, right? Okay. All right. So yeah. So let me go over it again for the sake of those who asked me to go over it. So for this, right, we need a couple of tools. We need M1NG, we need AirDump-NG, we need AirReplay-NG, right? Now I said, okay, first thing we have to do is to convert our Wi-Fi card mode from managed to monitor. So managed mode is like minding your business. Monitored mode is like, okay, you want to be seeing everything that is happening. You want to have full access to what is happening in the airspace, right? Okay. So to do that, you use a particular tool called mon ng, and this is the command you use for that. Sudo, right? Because it's a privilege, you need to do this as a high privilege user. Sudo mon ng. Okay, then you have this. So use it to check the interface name. So in my case now, you can see under this interface, I have WLAN 0 here. Okay, after checking the name of the Wi-Fi card, I then start the monitor mode. I change it from manage mode to monitor mode, right? So sudo monng start the Wi-Fi card name. So that's what we have here. Sudo monng start WLAN 0, and then in the output now you can see that it's now telling me monitored mode is now enabled. Okay, then after enabling monitor mode, I just want to confirm that it's working. I want to confirm the new Wi-Fi card name, right? Because it got changed here from LAN 0. Remember, I'm using LAN 0 here to be changed by the 2 to LAN 0 mon. So when you do IW config now, you can see that now the new name is WLAN 0 mon, right? And then you can see now that the mode is set to monitored in this part labeled 2. Okay, then after that now, I want to discover the Wi-Fis that are close to me, right? The different access points that are close to me. So when I run it now, I can see different ones, but because of this class, I just have one that I want us to practice with, which is called Cyberdemia. And then you can see the encryption and cipher section that is telling us it is WEP, right? So WEP is weak encryption, right? You understand? And after that one now, I will extract I will extract from this particular part, I will extract information such as the MAC address, which is the BSS ID, the channel number, which is 7, and other useful information here. You get. So now over here now, I can now use this tool called AeroDumpNG, specify the channel, one of the information we got from here. See this channel. Here I have channel to be 7, right? And I have the BSS ID, which is the MAC address, right? So I specify it to find out the devices that are connected to that Wi-Fi. You get? So that's what I have here. Then you can see the different devices that are connected. So in my case, I have just one device connected. I'll get this device MAC address to, and then I will now proceed to what disconnect this particular device that is connected to the Wi-Fi. So to do that, I will now use another tool called Air Replay NG, and I'll specify this is the authentication attack. I'm going to flood I want to flood that device so that it's denial of service attack, right? So I specify a large chunk of the authentication packet, right? So and then I'll give the access point mark, and then the target device mark, and then the wireless card interface, which is the WLAN 0 mon, right? Then after doing that, now that's how we come about this command. AirReplayNG, the authentication, I'm sending 30,000 packets, and then this is my victim, and this is the access control, and this is the wireless interface card name. And then with this now, I've successfully disconnected that particular user from the network. Yes. Okay. So yes, I know this might be a bit hard, a bit much of information to take and follow along. But remember, I apologized ahead of time. I said we are doing alternative to practical. So that's why I'm just trying as much as possible to explain using screenshots. Yes. Okay. But then, trust me, I have other attacks that you can actually follow along in using your system, right? From your Windows system, there are other simple kind of stuff that you can try. But then we have come to the end of today's class. No, it's not necessarily hard. Jimmy, it's not. It's just because of the situation of thing. Remember, it's this our class is kind of one-way traffic. If I could hear your voices and maybe we're in the proper classroom, some things would have been easier for me to explain. Okay. So, guys, thank you very much for tonight. Thank you very much for tonight. You could just do a little bit more research on the authentication attack, and yeah, there are a lot of barriers pertaining this attack for a lot of my students. Yeah, I know a lot of you are using phones to join. I know a lot of you are heavy Windows users. So that's why I said for this we will be doing alternative to practical. All right. So thank you very much. Okay, see, someone is asking, can it be done on phone? No, you can't do this on your phone. In fact, you can't do this on your Windows system. So that's why we just switched to alternative to practical, right? All right. So thank you guys. Thank you for your understanding. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So thank you all very much. See you guys in the very next one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.